My name is Monica Urian. I come from Transylvania and I work in DG Education and Culture. I've been working here since 2007, which is actually my whole life as a functionary in the European institutions. And I work at the moment in unit on cultural policy, particularly in international cultural relations with Asian countries. And I also work on cultural heritage. I used to work before in a Creative Europe unit, so in the program dedicated to cultural and creative sectors. I went there for the first time in 2010. It was actually just before joining as a functionary, before I was a temporary agent. So I had some months between the contracts, and it was really like love at first sight. It was my first time in Asia, so I was really so amazed with all the colors and the smells and the people and the landscapes. You know, I'm a big fan of mountains, and I think for everybody who loves mountains, there is no better place to go than Nepal with the Himalayas. The earthquake that happened in Nepal in April 2015 was a real tragedy for the Nepalese people, and not only, even for humankind, I would say, because you have to imagine that all these thousands of year old monuments that were World Heritage were destroyed, some of them completely. So it will take a long time to reconstruct. There were also almost 9,000 victims, and there were millions of people affected who had to move from their houses, which were destroyed. 16,000 schools were very badly damaged, among which 5,000 became just a bunch of rubble. So of course I was very affected by this news because I was very close to the Nepalese people in general. I know how kind and welcoming and generous they are, and I have a lot of friends there, so I was worried for them. My friends survived, but they lost everything, the crops, the animals, their houses were destroyed. So because I have been to Singla already 5 times in the past, I really felt a need to do something to help them. Singla is a village located in the Gorkha district, where the famous Gorkha warriors come from, and it was really near the epicenter of the earthquake. So the effects were very bad. So I decided to do some fundraising immediately with my friends, and I also sold handicrafts from Nepal. I did I did a birthday party, for example. I also participated in the family day in Eak with a tombola. So all kinds of different things that I could think of to help these people, especially the children. And then with this money I sent an immediate amount for emergency relief, for blankets and mattresses and food. And then when I went last year for the winter holidays, I went to the village to see with my own eyes what is the extent of destruction. And I also managed to buy school supplies for all the 250 pupils in this village. So we distributed 4,000 notebooks, for example, and lots of pens and everything they need for one school year. But also oil and sugar and salt, because people were desperate. They didn't have what to eat, they didn't have where to sleep. There was the monsoon in the meantime, so they lived in the rain. It was a very tough period for this community. I'm actually planning to go again in 1 week time and stay there for 1 month. So of course I want to continue my work with the children and with the community. In the meantime, I launched a sponsorship scheme for children and for families. So for children, I have chosen about 20 children from this community who are orphans, and I'm looking for sponsors for them. I have already found sponsors among my friends and colleagues, and we are paying for their living costs and also for the school costs. I launched also a sponsorship scheme for families, which consists of building a toilet for a family, because it's very difficult to rebuild their house already, and the government has given little money so far. But for the toilet they have no support. So imagine it's a very important issue for their hygiene and to prevent disease spread and so on. So I hope this will go on. I'm going to see how the children are doing now and see what we can do more. And in this trip I also want to go to other communities to see if we can do the same for their schools and to increase the reach of this program. Well, I'm always looking for sponsors, both for children and for families. I think the list will become longer and longer because people are quite desperate. It's going to be the second winter they spend in the cold, and it can be really freezing. Some people actually have died frozen last winter, and things haven't improved that much since. But for me, a very important thing is to insist on education. So I have a lot of ideas on how to improve the education of these children in their communities, because I believe, like everybody in EAC believes, that education is the key to their future. So why not invent even a scheme where EAC supports one school in a community, or a group of colleagues want to support one classroom, or and so on and so forth. The school quality in Nepal is a big problem, even for the kids who afford to go to school. Of course, it's not the question for everybody, especially for girls. So I have all these ideas, and in fact I would like to structure all this by creating an NGO. I thought about giving it the name Hope for Gorkha, because I want to work in the whole region, not only in the Singla village. And I would, of course, appreciate the colleagues' support also in the skills that are needed to start an NGO. By myself, for sure, I won't go very far. So I'm looking for people who can help me with, skills in fundraising, in communication, in accounting, and so on. Very important things to ensure that all the transparency conditions and the efficiency conditions are met. Because, of course, I intend to bring a full support to children and the communities in Nepal, and in the most efficient way. Well, I have for the moment a Facebook page which is called Help Singla Village, where I'm trying to give news about the project in general, about the children, and also about the work that we are doing there. And of course they can contact me when I'm coming back in January. And moreover, this week I will have a charity sale here in EAC, in front of the cafeteria. It will happen on Thursday, and I invite colleagues to come and see. I have brought a lot of handicrafts from there. It's really an amazingly creative people, the Nepalese people, so I always love to bring things that they produce in wool in Kashmir and so on and so forth. And this is also a way to support the project, because all the profits go, of course, to the children.
Okay. Thank you, Monica, for telling us about this, and have a safe trip.
Thank you very much.
We look forward to hearing more next year.
Yes, for sure.